Howdy, folks. Welcome to the channel, Rockin' the Country. I got my Kentucky hat on. It's actually getting a lot of use these days because I've been doing Loretta and now I'm doing Dwight. And they're back and forth courtesy of Fun Ronnie and Renee. This is a gift request of Renee's. Dwight is from Pikeville, Kentucky. And you know Loretta's from Butcher Holler and all that. And I'll be in Kentucky later this week. So I've got part 3 of a 5-parter courtesy of a gift, 5 gifts from Renee Mooberry. And it's Dwight Yoakam, one-time live, #1, Guitars Cadillacs. And this is from March 7th of 2021. So it was during COVID that I think that they were streaming this thing. And so that's why they're 6 feet apart and all that stuff. You know, the protocols that they're following. But this is part 3 of a 5-parter. So here we go for Renee's favorite dancing man.
Here's a question I've always had. Like, commensurate with that was the real punk explosion that had been running through LA for a few years. Did you take anything from that sort of movement, like the punk players and how they did business, which was make their own records and throw their own shows? Did you get anything out of that?
Yeah, a lot, because I was of the generation. Pete was, 8 years older than me, and Brantley, of course, is, you know, a little bit older than Pete and myself. But I was kind of that moment, and they were in it indirectly because we were all surrounded by it. You know, X, that was the LA punk band that blew up nationwide with the album, I think in 78, or did it come out in 78 in Los Angeles?
80.
80,
yeah,
okay.
On Slash.
But that scene was burgeoning when we got here. And I'll tell you, the Blasters, I saw Billy Zoom on his last rockabilly gig, that Gretsch, what was it, the Duo Jet, that silver metal flake sparkle, at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Robert Gordon was the headliner that night. And he was a neo-rockabilly act out of D.C., I think, who had Link Ray playing guitar. And I went over to see that gig at the Whiskey A Go-Go because it was in Tower Records and saw what they were playing. I'd driven up from Long Beach. I was still living in Long Beach. And Robert Gordon had covered an old song called Black Slacks, Black Slacks. Anyway, with Link Ray, which was, to this day, other than AC/DC, was the loudest experience I've ever had hearing a guitar played in my life, and mine is brutal. But Link Ray was unbelievable. It came off that stage because he warmed up for Robert Gordon and then was the band leader and played lead guitar with Robert Gordon that night. But I saw Billy Zoom's last rockabilly gig because he knew Pete, actually, and he told Pete later, he said, "Man, I can't. Nobody wants to even. You can't get arrested doing that kind of root stuff. I just gotta." He said, "I got this thing, man. We're called X," and that became that band. Billy, and John Doe and Exene, formed, and then later with us, their incarnation as the Knitters gave way to us playing gigs with them. We, were able to access that crowd. And Brantley and I were laughing the other day. We came in to do the load in and set up, or Brantley was crying. I was laughing. Because once we plugged in, we were playing acoustically with each, other music. We were just playing, I think we were doing Honky Tonk Man and It Won't Hurt. And then the band kind of jumped in and electric started. And it's a bit overwhelming when you're standing next to each other just playing acoustic guitar and acoustic fiddle to have that blast of that sonic kind of wave hit you. And I said, but that was us actually in 1986. We were that loud.
That's him in his Corvette.
If you hear the Roxy show, there was an energy to what we were doing. And even Brantley playing traditional mountain fiddle, it had such a reckless abandon to it. And to this day, when we played together the first time in 32 years on Saturday, it felt immediate again to me. I mean, it just felt immediate. We didn't have to even, explain what we were about to do to each other. We just started playing again together. And it's probably better we didn't explain anything, because my explanation would have gone on for 3 days, and Brantley would have not been listening after this third paragraph. And he would, but, you know, we were doing something, and you saw those shows. Yeah. The affinity that we had to the punk scene in LA, I mean, because the cow punk movement was born out of punk bands that decided they wanted to play country music. Mm-hmm. And that happened about 1980, 81, 82.
The band Perry actually fits that paradigm, believe it or not. And I like the band Perry, but they were a punk group. This is how I understand it. They were punk before they got into contemporary country. But they've got some really, really good songs, like If I Die Young and such. But Postcards from Paris, but my understanding, and yeah, Kim Perry, I mean, forget it. But they were punk. They brought an energy to their music.
So a year after X explodes, they start exploring their homage to the Weavers, which became the Knitters, and the Plugs with a Z became Del Fuegos, and Rank and File was formed out of the Dills. So all this was happening kind of in the midst of me playing a hardcore hillbilly bar, and Brantley and I were talking about the Palomino and going in there, and, you know, when you arrived, you said in 1978, it was like kind of a revelation, right, to walk into the Palomino the first night and watch that, and to see all of that, the purity of that. Because every Thursday night was a hoot night at the Palomino. I mean, anybody with the guitar could come in, sign up, and get up. But the house band were real players. I mean, Skip Edwards was leading the band at different times, who ended up playing on a lot of my records. He knows everything. Keyboards. And I didn't know how many lives I would, you know, kind of stumble across in those waning, you know, the burgeoning years of my musical career in LA that would affect me later, and many of them did. I mean, J.D. Maness was in that house band at different points, you know, that ended up playing on my demos here at United Western in this room, Studio One. I think about it every time I come in here to record, and what a journey it's been for me.
When you did the Warner record and you did Bury Me, you brought in Maria McKee to sing with you on that song.
Because I had been opening shows for Lone Justice. We had done co-bills at the Palomino and other clubs.
And you just like wanted that sound with you.
I thought she would bring, you know, just an energy to it that had the affinity to what we were doing in terms of the vibrance of youth.
Yeah, it worked.
I think it did. She did a great job with it. Yeah, so yeah, Bury Me was, in that incarnation had Maria McKee on it, and we're blessed by it. You know, I wrote the title track, but I'd run out of money when I was cutting the EP, and it was based on a mutual friend of ours, Bill Campbell, getting fed up with listening to somebody tell him one night at a bar we were all standing in all about the music business, and Bill kind of reared back and went, after he'd listened to about 15 or 20 minutes of this guy just going on and on and on. It was actually a talented harmonica player named Drew Clogan, funny guy, hilarious guy. But Bill was in a band with him, and he just said, "What?" He said, "I just always figured it was about guitars and Cadillacs."
Yep.
And I went home that night. I thought, man, a truer statement was never made about music and the music business in L.A.
You know what? That's what I say. Songwriters are always looking for material, and anything for the creative types can be an idea, and then you have to flesh it out. You got to make it work. The ideas keep coming at you. You know, it's like Michael Keaton in Night Shift. I'm an idea man, Chuck. They just keep charging at me, and then he spouts out all these ideas that were actually pretty funny. But this is exactly how it works. You're like there. You're kind of in the right frame of mind in the moment to receive this information, and you're like, that could be a song. And this is Guitars Cadillacs, as Dwight just said.
And the hopes and dreams of somebody. You're hoping to be able to buy. I wanted so long to buy a real Martin. I couldn't afford it. I had a Takamine knockoff of it for 3 years when I first got here. And I came out with an old K acoustic, the K guitar that I had. And finally got a Martin. So it was indeed all about guitars and Cadillacs.
And when I met you, was it a black El Camino?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a Cadillac yet.
1970 El Camino. I had no Cadillac.
It ran though.
Yeah.
El Caminos. Ah, there you go, Renee.
So sweet, Lord, guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music, lonely, lonely streets.
The fiddler, what a character.
Guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music. The only thing keeps me hanging on the guitar. Come on now.
I know you're moving around right now, Renee. And possibly dreaming. Slip and slide dance. Yeehaw.
Thank you very much.
That is a good place to stop. To give Renee a chance to catch her breath. It's too much fun. This hat shouldn't be red because I might be red already just thinking about what you're thinking, possibly. Yeah, that's going to go in the documentary series playlist. I hope you guys enjoy that. There's more coming up. There's 2 more parts to just too much fun. And we learned a lot. I mean, Dwight's pretty funny. He's very self-aware. He's like, I'll go on and on and on, and then Brantley will be tuning me out after 3. But Dwight's memory, that's one thing. When you have a really good memory for details, for events and all that, you are able to regurgitate them or just share a more elegant way of putting it, but share them with others, and you will. And this is Dwight's show. There's no necessarily, I'm sure that there couldn't have been a lot of foreplanning. The logistics were maybe the most difficult part of it because it was during COVID, but he's able to recite all these details, these events, all these other things. And Bennett, well, I forget his first name. It's not Bill Bennett, but maybe it is. He's able to remember everything too, like so many things, because he was there with. There we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country and rockabilly.
scars